in the first 6 months of doing Facebook, we drove our cost per lead down by 84%, which is massive. I mean, we're talking, in dollars and cents. We're talking prior to initiating a Facebook campaign, we were well over $1,000 at a cost per member perspective, and now we're sub 400 on average.
That's crazy.
Hey, I'm Brian Carter. Welcome to my podcast. Real companies, real campaigns, real results.
One of the biggest problems we struggle with these days is an overwhelm, too much information, too many ideas, too many platforms, too many strategies. What actually works? That's what we're going to talk about in these case studies. I think it's time for social marketing to mature. We're going to talk to companies that are doing big things in social media and getting quantifiable, measured results.
All right. Hey, Brian Carter here, and I am here with Jonathan Leake. We want to talk about some results that Direct Buy has gotten with Facebook, right? Cost per member, you said, went down from 1,000 to 400.
Cost per member is crazy. So our cost per member across all our media spend and all our channels, and this is a very generalized number, so we can get very finite based off channels, but prior to really initiating social, we were over $1,000. And today, if we look at all our channels combined, we are generally lower than $200.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is.
So we got to work with Direct Buy on this stuff, and this is really what we're going to talk about today is some great attribution stuff, right? I mean, Jonathan has done a great job with all your data partners, your analytics partners, of identifying what's really going on. And so many people use social, and no matter what they're doing, they don't really know what effect it's having.
That's true. It's totally true. I mean, a lot of people just, they have a lot of money, and I think it varies based off the size business that you are. Generally, the larger the business that you are, the harder it is to attribute things. And so you use tools like odometry, which is a wonderful tool to use. But in my experience with different brands, you're making huge financial decisions with 10, 15% of data. That's a lot of data that you're missing. And the opportunity with that other 85% of the data that you're missing on is huge. So where we were struggling as a business is that we didn't really have a really good attribution path or a report to really tell us what channels we're pushing and pulling. So if you think about media, you want to push and pull different levers based off what's working. And sometimes you want to actually push a lever further out that's actually not working for brand reasons. A billboard is a perfect example in every day where people are like, well, why do I want to put a billboard up on the street? Well, because Coca-Cola is on the other side of the road and I'm Pepsi. So you just need to be there. But then when you want to get down to conversion and lead gen, it's another ball of wax. So really, where do I want to put my efforts in? In this case, for us, it was social. It was an area that we knew based off our experience working together. We knew that we could drive a lot of brand awareness. We knew that we could drive leads at a really efficient cost. It just was the question of how was it going to impact our business? And the results, are huge.
Well, let's go backwards. What was Direct Buy doing before with social, if anything?
So previous to that, we were really community. So it was about engaging members, getting them to, work with our page. We've had a brand reputation issue in the past. And so we try and make sure that we put customer service first. And so we want customers to come to our page. We want them to ask questions and have our customer service team answer those questions. But it really was not about a membership conversion vehicle. We didn't use Facebook as that. We were using it as an engagement tool with our existing membership. Some of the type of content that we put out there is inspirational for folks that like to do things by themselves, like DIYers and of that nature. But, I would say the opportunity, and as you and I know this, is that Facebook and social in general has become a pay-to-play kind of space. And so if you want to drive your member engagement up, or not, if you just want to drive your page engagement up, you have to pay just to get your post shown. If you want to use social as a lead acquisition vehicle, then you can also do that too, but you also have to pay. Your organic stuff that you can do can certainly help that, but it's an assisted conversion. So it's a question of how does pay change the algorithm for you within social. And it can certainly do a lot of good things, and that's where we help. That's where your team helps us out a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did several things. Number one, we identified who is the best buyer, right?
Right.
We took all direct buys emails, we uploaded them, we looked at the members, we looked at members who stuck versus members who didn't stick versus people who didn't become members. And then we looked at the difference between who those people were. And then that helped us target the ads better. And I tell people now, I've summarized it, advertising is instant targeted visibility, right?
Yep.
Whereas organic is like, we might reach some people, we don't know who, and we don't know when. And that's the problem with organic. So the other thing too, is that there's this black box, right? You identified through the attribution study that social is often the first touch, Google is often the last touch, but in between, like, what was it that increased all the direct buy searches? Was it the brand reputation stuff we did? Was it the other? We did a number of different awareness and engagement campaigns, and we know they all helped. We just don't know. We don't know which one helped the most, right?
Right. Well, that's actually what we're working on right now. So we're working with our analytics partner to get better attribution. So out of every dollar, if you're thinking about a linear attribution model, that's generally a 40-40-20 split. So first click gets 40% of your dollar, last click gets 40% of your dollar, and the remaining channels get 20. So you spread 20% across all the other channels. What we know from our experience is that sometimes it's non-branded that actually influences people to come into Facebook. So they're doing a search for a product, on non-branded. It might just be for furniture in a particular location. Let's say furniture in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then they go into Facebook and they see our ad because that influenced what happened in Facebook. So then all of a sudden we show up because we targeted furniture. Then they engage with our ad, and then they go back out online, and then they're like, oh, who is this direct buy? And then they do a search for direct buy furniture, and then they learn about our business and they come to our website. So that's a general path for our business and how someone learns about us. We've done a good job with content online. So Pinterest helps us out a lot with getting other content out there, inspiration moments. Our blog does a lot of good work there too. And the search team that we work with has really put together a lot of good content just on our blog about, things like a man cave, how to make the perfect man cave. I know it's a total cliche type thing, but honestly, let's be honest here. We all want a man cave, some way, shape, or form, or I really want an awesome garage. So take your pick, which it is. But the content is what's driving people into the other channels, in addition to paid. So pages influences where people go organically, and it's being able to have the right content in place across the other channels that drives them back in. Maybe it's through another paid channel, but often it's direct. So when I say direct, I mean people literally just type in your domain name in their address bar. That's the ultimate goal, at least for us, because that allows us to tell our best story.
Right. So why do you think Facebook had such a big effect on the cost per lead, cost per member?
I think the targeting is the best element. You can do targeting in other markets, like you can do targeting in Google, but you have to pay a lot in Google's world to actually utilize all the functionality that's available. So it takes a really heavy media spend to be able to target what you want. So say, for example, you want to target people with a FICO score, which is something that you do. It's a cohort of sorts that you definitely want to hit. If you're in our market, if we could target people by FICO score, that would be fabulous. Because it helps us make sure that the people that want to sign up for membership can continue to be a member of us and also have disposable income to be able to take advantage of the savings that we offer every day.
Right.
Facebook was huge for us because we were able to look at demographic information that's not normally available in other sources. So household income is one. That's generally something that you would get through a business that does FICO scoring, like an Experian. So we can take a household income, geographic locations, if they happen to be within a territory that we have a club located, which amplifies the social footprint and the digital footprint of the business. These are all things that are relevant to what we have going on. What's also great for the member profile is that we can actually pull sales data, as in if a lamp happened to be the most popular selling item, well, then we can change our creative up in Facebook very quickly to identify people that like lamps.
Right.
You have people that are just very passionate, and I always call them passion points, and Facebook allows you to really tap into those passion points really easily. And that just amplifies your ad work, what you're doing within advertising really well. It's creative
Right.
and targeting all in one.
I was thinking about Brick with I Love Lamp when you said that. So, from Anchorman. Yeah, no, that's true. And I don't know if everybody knows that you can find out, that people's income level from Facebook Audience Insights, or that you can target people with Facebook ads by income or by net worth or by the value of their home, which have been huge. And then, like you said too, I mean, we discover things about maybe not, it's interesting because maybe it's not the type of furniture that they end up buying, but we discover the type of furniture that leads them to enter their lead information, which may be different from the coolest looking furniture. It may not be what you expect, and we get to find that out.
I'm always amazed at, we like to think, like, I personally like modern furniture, but I'm always amazed at how much Americana is out there. I mean, when I say Americana, there's a lot of, tattered American flags that are ordered all the time.
Yeah. And there's a lot of brown furniture and comfortable stuff that looks like, I could lay down on that and it would be comfortable, as opposed to, we even had people in the Facebook post go like, I don't know if they've said this, but they're like, it looks like I could actually injure myself on that furniture. It's too sharp, or it's, it's too white. I'm going to spill juice on it immediately, so we learn a lot of stuff from the posts that we put, and we're showing them to the best target customer. So we're actually learning what the ideal customer thinks, which is great.
Yeah. I think what was really interesting when we first started, and as a business, you do your research and you identify who your customers are. And we have 4 different sets of people that we like to look for. I think what was interesting though, is that there's this argument in the marketplace that you should always be going after millennials. And I think millennials are phenomenal people, lots of wonderful ideas. But I have to tell you, millennials, just right now today, they're not our core customer. And that's one of the things we were able to identify, is that there is a millennial customer that is right for us. But most millennials, and they haven't just experienced the life moments to really take them to a place where they could be, really take advantage of our membership in the most the best way that they could.
Yeah. I mean, and they haven't had the opportunities, they had this, the millennial story. We come out of college, there's no jobs, the economy's horrible. And so that's what I tell people is like, hey, I'll give you some millennial data here, but they don't, the data shows they don't have a lot of money. And so, it is trendy to say, how are we going to, and maybe they will indeed be the next big customer. There are a ton of them. They're going to inherit their parents' money. And so in 10 years, 15 years, maybe they'll have some money for a while, but
that would be great.
But right now, I don't know, right now they're not a good customer for a lot of different things. Did you want to share any of those slides? Any other thing we haven't covered yet on those?
Yeah. So let me pop up the slides real quick.
We had Jonathan present at Social Media Marketing World. I had 2 panels, a Facebook panel, Twitter panel, all corporate stuff. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to have some more of those people in interviews like this. Cool. All right.
Yeah, so this gives you a quick thing. So what we were able to identify in a super quick way is, here's our 84% reduction. We attributed it directly to Facebook, because we were only doing advertising in Facebook. So we're not spending money in Twitter or LinkedIn or any other place that we could acquire people socially. And on the flip side, what we were able to do is really target the fact that our most inefficient channel as a result of this was non-branded pay-per-click. So what we did is we actually cut out our non-branded pay-per-click, and it reduced our overall cost per lead by 67% in just 4 months. What we talked about originally was 84% reduction in our cost per lead. Well, our cost, our member acquisition cost dropped by 80% as well. That's huge. So this is how we did it. So in month 1, we set benchmarks. Super duper important. If you don't have benchmarks, you should set them now. Even if you don't have any research to set them, I'm sure you have some data to establish them. When we went out of the gate, we were looking at trying to get a $40 lead. So this gives you an idea in our lead generation how it works. So we started out in month 1 at like $164 a conversion. Month 2, we ended up kind of figuring things out a little bit more in our targeting and our spend ratios and everything we were doing. We ended up with $25. And then by month 3 and month 4, we literally were able to achieve a $4 conversion. It's pretty outstanding to see what you can do. Just by focusing in on the data, which is really important.
Yep.
And this gives you an example of where we actually sat. So when we put the program together, we worked with you. We ran a full digital audit across all our channels. We looked at what we were trying to actually achieve. And these are the 4 things. We've got engagement. We wanted 20 to 50% post per lead. In month 1, we were already able to achieve that goal, and we were able to achieve the engagement rate that we wanted. As you could see in month 4, that went up in terms of our engagement rate. That's great. And then you get down to the leads. You have $40 was our benchmark, and month 1 wasn't so good, $106. But by month 4, we're down to $745. That's fantastic. And one of the biggest challenges that we had is trying to figure out how to get quality leads in the door. So we were able to get a lot of leads, but the question that we had was, of the people that give us phone numbers, how many of those people actually show up at the door? So that's kind of a big deal. At the end of the day, we really need to make sure that when people become a lead, that they actually want to follow through on the lead and the appointment that they made with us. It's a pretty common experience these days to not have that happen, where people literally just don't show up for their appointment. It was top of mind when they actually became a lead, but you didn't give them a conversion event to do anything other than become an appointment. And that's not what they wanted to do. Maybe they just wanted to sign up, right now. So that happens all the time. And now we're trying to refine that process to make sure that the lead that's coming in the door is the best quality lead to enable our phone sales team to actually work with the lead and convert the lead. And then on the flip side, if you don't happen to want to engage with actual people, which is more and more common, you just want to text and you just want to chat and you really just want to be digital. You don't really want to have human interaction, but you want digital human interaction. And if that's how you want to convert into a customer for someone, then we need to give them that opportunity. And that's what we're working on actively as a business to make it easier to become a customer.
Yeah, that's the next frontier. Cool. Awesome. Well, I think that pretty much covers it. Thanks for sharing all that info and test everything, track it, analyze it, do better.
Exactly.
Any final words?
What my mantra is it's launch, measure, rinse, and repeat. You got to fail fast and you have to learn quickly. And the only way you're going to do that is if you dive into the data and make sure you're measuring things and make sure you're setting benchmarks. So if you're not doing that stuff, find a way to do it. It's really, really hard, but it's also super easy. And it's the same way that you're going to grow in life. Like if you don't ever say that you're going to graduate high school, you're never going to graduate high school because you're not challenging yourself. You want to graduate college? Well, set the goal and you'll make it happen. It's not easy. No one said anything's easy, but you'll make it right, and you'll figure out what works to get to where you want to be.
Awesome. Jonathan Leake, Direct Buy, thank you very much.
You bet.
So some of our main takeaways from this are, number 1, Facebook audit can be huge to help you identify who your best customers actually are. That can be super valuable for a couple reasons. Number 1, once you know who your best customer is in terms of the data, then you can ensure that you're not targeting the wrong people and that everybody in your organization is focused on the ideal customer. Then you can use that information to target your ads to the right people. You can make sure your content gets in front of the right people. And then you can also make sure that when you get feedback about your content, that feedback is coming from your ideal customer and not just from anybody. You don't want to go crazy with people don't like this or that infographic or that blog post and they're not even your ideal customer, right? So that's a huge thing to start with. This direct buy case study for us is one of our first huge end-to-end things where multiple strategies, multiple tactics all in place, and we saw that having everything going together created a gigantic lift in a lot of ways for the entire business. The second thing we saw was that posting in a lot of different ways for brand reputation, for engagement, and getting across the brand's value proposition and unique selling proposition really helps soften up the target. And that led to more searches for the brand name. It led to a lower cost per customer acquisition overall, and it also allowed us to even stop running certain other types of advertising, certain types of Google ads that were very expensive. So we decreased our awareness cost, we decreased other costs, we created more customer awareness, we got them ready to buy sooner, and we really made Facebook the most efficient and effective first touch channel online. And the third thing we did was we found out that Facebook, again, as it has been for for many of our customers, both B2C, B2B, is a very effective, low-cost way to get leads. Not only can you get customer sales, e-commerce, members, but you can also get a ton of leads for your salespeople to contact. What was really most interesting to me, though, was that by doing everything from the audit at the beginning to the posting engagement, the customer targeting, the lead gen, doing everything together had a gigantic effect for their business. We have other clients who sometimes engage us for just one thing. Maybe it's just the ads, maybe it's just the audit, maybe it's just posting. They don't do the entire system of things that is Facebook marketing. And so we got to see just a gigantic effect for using all of the different strategies that Facebook has available. It had a gigantic effect, and so we'd love to do that for more businesses, to put everything into play. What can you do with this information? I definitely encourage you to check out Facebook Audience Insights. Upload your emails if you have them, your buyer emails, your lead emails. Analyze the difference between your buyers and your leads and your fans, and then people that just like your competitors or people who like things in your niche. Find out who your ideal customer is, right? Do a lot of posting to your ideal customer, learn what they like and don't like. Make sure you use ads, because Facebook is pay to play. You have to use ads. And like Jonathan said, you've got to test, right? That's fundamental to everything we do. We're constantly, while we're getting results, while we're getting engagement and leads and sales, we're also always learning, because we're trying different images, different messages, different ways to target that ideal customer. So you always want to be learning. So that's what you should do with this information from this case study. Hope it was useful to you, and I look forward to bringing you to the next one. See you then.